Hello everyone, nice being here at the Huawei IDI Forum. I'm Fabian Degenhardt, I'm the head of our infrastructure operations department, and I would like to tell you a little bit about how we at VHV Group are preparing our storage systems for the future. To give you a short introduction what we do, we are an insurance group from Germany with a really old history. We are over 100 years old. Some of our business units are even older than that. And last year we reached a milestone in our development. We generated over 4 billion of contribution volume, which is a really significant number for us. We have 3 core brands that we are operating with. If you are from Germany, you may know them. We have the VHV Versicherung, which is our car and building insurance company. We have the Hannoversche, which is our life insurance company. And just recently, we started the VHV International, where we are aiming to go more into Europe and where we are bundling our international subsidiaries. We are facing 3 main challenges in our IT department. And I took a long thought how to transit here. And let's talk about the mainframe for a second. Because we as an insurance company have been using IT longer than most tech companies exist. We started our mainframe more than 50 years ago. It's much older than me. And right now we are facing the challenge that we have a very complex IT infrastructure. We have these really, really old legacy systems. We have the a bit modern, more standardized client and server systems. And we are also operating cloud systems. All these 3 systems need to be managed in some way, and we need to handle this complexity. On top of that, we have quite a large number of highly specialized systems for claims management, for our capital management, and so on. And last but not least, a lot of these systems are intertwined. We have a really high number of interfaces between these systems. So it is not easy to change one of it. The second challenge we are facing is adaptability. And this is really a main one. We need to be able to react quickly to customer demands. The business demands change more quickly. The business dictates the pace, and rightfully it does so. Because IT as itself is not what we aim for. We are an insurance company. And our time to market needs to be low. So we have to be really flexible in addressing the business needs. But on top of that, we are also faced with constant new regulatory demands. New laws like the Digital Operational Resilience Act, DORA. If you're not familiar with this is something like an enhanced NIS2 for the insurance sector, needs to be addressed in even shorter time frames. If you think back a few years, when the EU released the GDPR law or regulation, we had about 4 years to implement it, from announcement to it had to be effective. For DORA, we had 18 months. And the last details were announced in January this year. So the regulatory authorities expect companies to be much quicker in addressing their demands. And last but not least, new technologies like AI are developing quickly. And we need to keep up with it. If you think back a few years, if you wanted to write a program, some software developer needs to sit down and write all of it. Today, the basic structure of the program is generated, of course. Nobody writes the boring stuff anymore. So all these three demands are pressuring us to become more adaptable. And last but not least, and we heard this earlier, is cost efficiency. You have to have control over your budget, and you have to be able to actively manage it. It seems simple, but it is not an easy thing to do. You need to have cost transparency for your IT services. It is key for budgeting, and the budgets are getting tighter. We are faced with a huge inflation every year, and we as an insurance company, which is heavily invested in car insurances, are facing an even bigger inflation in this specialized department. And how can we address this? We need to be able to tier our services. If you're talking about a big company, you have different subsidiaries with different business models. So you need to be able to cater to these business models. You need to be able to provide cheap solutions for a more cost-sensitive business model and more quality solutions for another one. And last but not least, and that is a really important point, is the ease of use in licensing and pricing. We see an increasingly complex system of licensing. And a lot of companies, and we are no exception, are struggling to meet all these criteria, to make sure they're not over-licensing, they're not under-licensing. To get it just right is a huge effort. So ease of use in licensing and pricing becomes a selling point. So just to quickly recap, we are facing three challenges: complexity, adaptability, and cost efficiency. And these three challenges depend on each other. You can easily be more adaptable if you just spend money, or you can easily be more adaptable if you increase your complexity. But that is not what we try to do here. We need to take all three factors into consideration to provide a good solution, because if we do so, then we get a happy customer at the end. And now let's look a little bit how we do this technical. With our storage strategy, we are directly addressing these three challenges. We started in 2022 with our Ocean Store Pacific system. We have around 4 petabytes installed, and we use it as a storage system for our database backup. And it's really easy to consolidate all different databases we have onto this one backup system. So we're reducing complexity. And if we look a little bit further, we are even using it to tier our services. We can, using Huawei SmartSync, we can shift data to the cloud, to, for example, AWS S3 services or something like that. And that allows us to tier our services to save money. And this is something we just started, but Huawei and VHV are quite invested in it, so it's great to see that we are working together to even further this. And earlier this year, we decided to also buy a Dorado system, around 2 petabytes of capacity, and we are doing basically the same thing. We can now unify our storage. It's a unified storage system. We do not longer have to differentiate between block storage or file storage. For instance, if I shift a huge amount of file storage to whatever, let's call it Microsoft SharePoint, and I gain a lot of free capacity, I can now easily use this capacity to address my needs for block storage, or vice versa, of course. So it's a really, really nice feature. I really like this about this solution because it gives us adaptability. And in doing so, it allows us to even further reduce our complexity. In the future, we plan to even converge the storage system more on the Dorado by even migrating our archive system to this. And last but not least, ease of use is a point which is really important in this system because, as you can see, we bought it earlier this year and we plan to be fully migrated to the system by August this year. So that is not a long time frame for a whole migration of 2 storage systems. And we are really, really happy with it, that it is so easy to use. And it helps us to gain more speed, to become more adaptable, to be more cost efficient, and to reduce our complexity. So we as a VHV experts, and you hopefully are insured by VHV experts, and we are backed up by our Huawei storage experts.